Hey guys, how's it going? It's Knifey here, and today I'm going to be talking about my Smiter build. So let's just jump right in. So, for the Smiter build, let's just recall a few key things here. I want to make sure that we know all the details about Smite. So I have this is from the Amazon basin, and it's one of the best resources. But they have all the important facts here. So Smite always hits, so attack rating is not going to matter for Smite, and it will knock back an eligible target, so that bosses can't really be knocked back, okay? So that's not going to matter. Now, for the damage for Smite, it does not use any weapon enhanced damage and things like that, but damage plus from your weapon will work. And that's why Grief is such an amazing weapon for Smiters, and I believe it should be the first weapon you seek to when you're building your Smiter, okay? And then of course all these auras will affect Smite, so our main aura of course will be Fanaticism, but if you're able to get these, those are nice as well, nice damage boosts, okay? And then one more thing is that Life Steal does not work with Smite, nor does Mana Steal, but if you use Life Tap, that's going to be the way that you will actually steal life back, okay? So you can sustain yourself and not die. Alright? So that's the main, some main things that I think we should note before going to Smite the builder. Oh, just a couple more things, yeah. So Smite can do Crushing Blow. That's pretty important, because Crushing Blow is going to do like percent damage of the monster, okay? And since Ubers has so much life, any percent type of damage against them will really chip away down at their life, okay? Deadly Strike does not work with Smite, okay? And I think that's it. Alright. So let's jump into the skills here. Now, for the Smiter build, I'm going to recommend leveling as Zealot, because Smite is just annoying to level with. You're going to knock back all your enemies, like you're going to have to chase them down. It's just not worth it, okay? So I would say level as a Zealot and max your Fanat and your Zeal, and maybe, put some in a Holy Shield while leveling and whatnot, and you might want your utilities and some resist and stuff. And boom, this will be like your leveling build. Eventually, you're going to want to switch to the full Smite build, which would be, of course, max Smite, max Holy Shield. Our Fanaticism is already maxed. And boom, there we go. So as you can see, we got a lot of points left over, really. And what I like to do is I like to put a few into these resists, because each two raw points into one of these auras will actually boost your max resistance, okay? So I say put 6 in each, and that'll boost your max resist by 3, okay? So that's really nice. Another thing that we'll need is a salvation. I say maybe put 5 to 10 or so in there, and maybe a few into Defiance at the end, if you can. Alright? Something like this would be ideal for the Smiter build. I think this would be a good skill setup. It's not too high, but I think you could get away with taking away some of these utilities, maybe, if you really need to. But I like to keep them. Go ahead and go with this. I think you'll be satisfied. So let's jump to the gear. Alright. For the gear, make sure that we're on the right page of my notes here. Okay, there we go. So for the helm, we're going to go with the Guillaumes. And we're gonna put an rune in here. And that's because the Gyames doesn't have much going for it other than the crushing blow, of course, which we want. And this hit recovery is pretty nice. But Deadly Strike doesn't work for Smite, so we're really just focusing on crushing blow here with this build. Okay? Now, for the amulet, we're going to go with the High Lords. And this is for the attack speed, the skills, and the lightning resist, okay? Because that Deadly Strike doesn't apply to Smite, but the amulet itself is just so good, this is what we're going with. Alright? Now, for the armor, I'm going to have some budget options, but I would say, if you can, if you have a Fortitude Archon plate, go with this. I use it in a few of my other builds. We can switch the gear between our guys, so no problem. So try to get that endgame setup. Fortitude is going to be your best choice, okay? And this enhanced damage will apply to Smite, right? But the character screen may not exactly show the damage correctly, okay? I'm not sure if this has been totally corrected in D2 Resurrected, but just be aware, okay? Then, of course, this chilling armor is really nice, and then we definitely need the resists, alright? Now, for the weapon, you're definitely going to want a Grief and a Phase Blade. And if you can get a superior, that would be even a tiny... actually, that doesn't even matter, right? Because weapon damage doesn't apply. So just get a regular Phase Blade. That'll be okay, right? And then attack rating won't apply. Durability doesn't even apply to Phase Blades because they don't even have durability, which is kind of cool. So, there we go. That's going to be our weapon. Our main weapon. I say if this would be the main thing to go for this build, to focus on first. Okay, now for the shield, I say go with an Exile in a Zakarum shield and an Ethereal one, okay? And that's because it auto repairs, and that defense will be very nice, as well as the Defiance Aura, and then of course the life tap on striking is the main thing we want with this, alright? And also, for the auto mod, the tiny enhanced damage could be okay. I say go with resists. Yeah. And sure, go with some tiny bit of enhanced defense if you can, with the superior roll. So, we really like this because of the max resist as well, but mostly for the life tap on striking. And of course I'm going to have another budget option that I will show you just a moment, but let's go ahead and finish this setup off. Alright, now for gloves, we're going to use Venom Grip, and that's because of the crushing blow and the nice poison resists here, okay? You could probably even upgrade these to Bramble Mitts, and boom, this is our glove setup. Okay, for the ring, we're going to definitely need a Raven for these things down here, but mostly they cannot be frozen. These other things are nice, and these don't apply to Smite. Now for the belt, I'm going to say go with the T-Gods, and that's because we need the Lightning Absorb and the Lightning Resist, as well as these other stats are pretty nice too. Alright, for the second ring option, go with a Dwarf because of the Fire Absorb here. Purely Fire Absorb, 40 life is nice, gold is nice, but Fire Absorb is going to be our main thing we're focusing on here. Now for the gloves, some people say Gore Rider or Goblin Toe. I like to stick to Goblin Toe, okay? And that's because they have 25 crushing blow, alright? And you can upgrade these at least to battle boots, I think would be good enough. And boom, there we go. So this is our kind of our item setup. And yeah, there we go. Alright. Now for charms. I say go with an Annihilus, of course, if you can get one. And then we're going to be farming torches, so it really depends if you want to carry around a torch or not. But I say, since with the new shared stash ability in D2 Res, you can go ahead and carry a torch actually, and then go stash it when you're done. Go pick up the other torch, whatnot, you know, hopefully the server doesn't do anything crazy, but yeah. You'll want a Paladin torch, and boom, there you go. All right. So let's look at our stats because we want to make sure we have everything covered. As you can see, our resists aren't totally maxed out. We're going to try to top those off with charms, as you can see in a moment. But let's go ahead and fill in the stats first, okay? So we need to take off the things that give us strength right now, just to make sure we get everything calculated correctly, okay? And I think we'll need just a bit of strength here. I think 110 for the Thunder Gods, yeah. And then boom. Equipping that, and then that will give us some more strength. And we should have enough to wear the Exile. Okay. Now, for the Grief, we will need some dexterity here. And we will need some additional dexterity because I definitely like to get max block on this build just for the increased defense, but we'll need to turn Holy Shield on first. And this will boost our block chance to 54% just from the Holy Shield. So that's pretty nice. And then we will need to boost it a bit more to get our block chance up to 75. I think we might need about 180 dex total. Maybe 180. 183. Okay. There we go. Now for the life, just dump the rest into life there, and boom, we've got a ton of life. And you could maybe even put a few into energy if you need, because we won't be leeching mana. But of course, Smite uses such a small amount of mana. I think you'll be okay with covering with potions, or maybe switching to meditation quickly if you need to regen your mana. Just make sure you sustain your life tap to keep leeching life off those Ubers while you're attacking them. Alright. And there we go. Now, for the weapon swap, of course, we'll want to just get the basic call to arms and a crystal sword or something like that. Crystal sword, flail is all going to be okay. And then just any junk spirit. Maybe go with like a sacred targe or something. You know, this won't really matter too much, but just to illustrate, we just need the plus skills. Okay, just for buffing, and maybe even buffing our Holy Shield as well. Okay. So we could have a level 28 Holy Shield, buff our skills, get our battle command, get our battle orders, refresh our Holy Shield with level 29 Holy Shield, and boom, our buffs are done. Now, we'll switch to turn on Fanaticism, and we'll look at our smite damage. It'll be pretty impressive here. Wow, 33k damage. That's pretty good. And our defense is like almost 30k as well. Yeah, so this is pretty good. But the thing is, we gotta top our resists off. So let's go ahead and do that. We're gonna need some small charms with resist. Okay. We'll need a couple of these, And especially we'll need to get this topped off if we don't have torch, right? Definitely need to get that topped off. We might even be able to, whoops, what was I saying? Torch. We already got the torch. Yeah. We need resists. And let's just clone these. Okay. There we go. Put it in the inventory there. And boom. With some resists, we'll be able to top that off. And actually, we could probably, since we've got such a buffed holy shield, we could probably take out some of these sticks. Okay, there we go. Just a couple points of dex take out. And then, yeah, put it into life. Boom. So, just figure out what works best for you. Of course, these are perfect rolls on everything. These stats are going to be unlikely. You will most likely need to put in more strength and dex. And the fight will be lower, but for the purposes of illustrating the so-called max, or perfect build, rather. Max roll, right? Whoops. Just make sure you get every stats covered, right? Your stats probably won't look like that, but just to show. Okay. Now, also, make sure we can get a little hit recovery here. So maybe get some all resist charms with hit recovery. Right? And for hit recovery, it's not going to be our main focus. We really just want to get up to that 5 frame breakpoint for the hit recovery. So if you can find some small charms with hit recovery, try to get those. Try to get some of those. You may have more charms, a variation of charms, but basically 30 or so resist from charms, I think, is key. And then about 20% hit recovery from charms just to reach that 5 frame breakpoint with the 48% faster hit recovery. Boom, you'll be good. Okay. Now, as you can see, we're pretty stacked in our damage and in our resists. But Uber Mephisto doesn't care about that, does he? He has Conviction Aura, which is level 20, right? And if we look at Conviction, we can see that a level 20 is going to reduce your resist by negative 125. That takes away pretty much everything we just built. But we have a solution here. And I'll show you. But let me just get this up really quick. Where is he? There he is, Mephisto. Yeah, Conviction level 20. It's active. So when we go up against Mephisto, he's going to reduce our resists to fire, cold, and lightning, of course, because Conviction doesn't affect poison. But he's going to reduce us into the negatives, alright? But this is when we're going to switch from Fanaticism to Salvation. Boom. Even with a few points in Salvation, we're going to negate that Conviction Aura from Uber Mephisto, and he's the only boss you'll need to use Salvation against, really. But say if you want to even increase this a bit more, then put in a few more points in Salvation, right? But of course it's going to cost some more levels. So just see how you feel. I think this would be satisfactory till you get your life tap stacked in, and then of course go take down Mephisto, right? But you will need Salvation against Uber Mephisto because his Conviction is just really deadly, okay? And then he casts Blizzard, and he's got long range lightning and charge bolt. So yeah, you're gonna just need to be careful with that, okay? But when we fight any other boss, including Uber Duriel and Andy and Diablo Bale and Iswell, we'll be using our good old Fanaticism. Where'd it go? There it is. Yeah. Boom. And we'll be back up to Smite with the 16k damage. Wait, 16k damage. I thought we had... Ah, yeah, that's because it's the boss. Okay. Wait, hold on. Did we... What did we do? What do we do here? Fanaticism. Yeah. Okay. Maybe I just messed up something. I think we'll be okay. Okay. Yeah, so that's still pretty solid damage, alright? Now, for your mercenary, he'll probably die, but if you want to just get a bit more damage, say you get a Nightmare Offensive, he's going to boost your damage just slightly, as you can see there, with his Might Aura, and then just go with the Ral rune, or the Ruby Jewel of Fervor, but we already know about that, don't we? So Fortitude here, and the Sacred, Ethereal, all right. And yeah, actually, we'll just show the jewel in case this is your first time seeing a video. We like to use the Ruby Jewel of Fervor if we can find one. With fire resist, and just to give him a little bit of a boost there. It's basically a Ral rune plus. All right, now for the weapon. As I said, this is pretty end game. I don't expect you to even use a Merc, but if you want to just stack that damage even more, you're gonna want to go with a Pride and a great pull axe there, and that's purely for the Conviction Aura. Okay, to boost your own damage. All right. So we're gonna have pretty solid smite damage here, about 23k, and we're gonna have some pretty solid defense here, and yeah, we'll have Fanaticism active, and yeah. Yeah, so yeah, against the target dummy, yeah, it'll be 46k. Against the boss, of course, it's reduced a bit because they inherently have a lot of defense. But this is gonna be like my totally endgame smiter with perfect gear and whatnot. I laid out some other options we can use here, but let's talk about some other gear options. Because I know that when we're starting out, we're not going to have all of these crazy things, right? I hope that we can at least focus on getting the grief, but if it's not possible, there's a few other little things we can do. And you'll see what I'm talking about there. Alright, so let's go back. Let's say we're just fighting target dummy, just to get an idea of our damage and how that's going to change when we switch to the budget gear. And you'll really see how much grief helps, okay? But for the budget gear, we won't have the Exile Shield, right? I say go with a Herald of Zakarum. It's pretty good. And probably you will need an Omrune in there for the resists, okay? Now, for the armor, if we don't have a Fortitude Archon plate laying around, I use it in a few of my builds. You can share your items between builds, but so we don't have a low room. We haven't built this yet. We're going to go with a Guardian Angel, okay? As you can see, our resist went down a bit here, but go with an run here, okay? And then of course this is going to increase your block, so you may be able to get away with cutting out the dexterity here, cutting out a lot of dexterity, whoops, we can't cut out that much. Okay, we'll at least need enough for grief, but our block should be covered with the minimum amount required for grief with the guardian angel, because this gives that increased block chance. Okay, and then it gives these, which are really nice. So you'll be super tanky, okay, against the resists. Alright, and then with that rune in there, you'll be topped off. Okay. Now, of course, we won't have any way to cast Life Tap without Exile in our shield. So, we're going to need a Dracules. These aren't too hard to find. It's like one medium, high-ish level rune, like a Mal rune I've seen people trading it for. It'd probably be less by the time this video is released. But, yeah, you'll need that to cast Life Tap. Definitely important. Very important. Okay, and say we don't even have a grief. Well, what could we use? Well, I say get a lightsaber. Okay. It's still going to have very fast attack speed. It's going to have lightning absorb on it. It's going to add just a tiny little bit of damage. This might not even apply in the end, but really it's just a substitute for our shield and our smite damage, right? But our smite damage has really suffered a lot, as you can see. And if we have no merc, then it'll be low. But I think with the crushing blow, and if you stay consistent, and it may take a bit longer, it may take some kiting strategies and stuff like that, but I think even with this budget build, you'll be able to take down some Ubers, okay? So, there we go, guys. I hope you enjoyed the Smiter build today. I hope it was informative. I hope I covered everything. Let me know how Ubers have been going for you guys. My current Smiter, I'm still working on him. I'm trying to get him up there. But as you can see, he's right here. He's chilling. I'm still working on him. I'm just using like Griswolds and stuff right now. I did manage to find this from Meph, and I did find some Dracules as well from Meph, and I got my Guillaumes and my Goblin Toe ready to go eventually. And I am saving my keys, and we're gonna start farming those torches soon enough and feeding them off to all our other characters, and it's gonna be a good time because torches are great. But I'm working on the grief, and these are just a few of the items I used for leveling, just random things that I found, and that's what I'm rolling with right now. I'm still in the Zealot build, okay? But I'm going to switch that eventually when I get a grief, and I get enough keys to start farming those organs, to start farming those torches. But that is my build, guys. I hope you enjoyed it. I'm gonna have a link to it in the video description down below, and I also have a text document laying out my build in text form for you guys. So if you enjoyed this, please give it a like and subscribe, and I will definitely see you in the next one. Peace.